I didn't want to come to China for some reason. It's very difficult for an old lady to come to China alone. They're often more so very reserved. And that's Chinese culture, right? They are taught from a very small age to not be better than anyone else, right? They have anything about Chinese culture. I've been learning a lot about Chinese culture, and I feel it helps me when I teach, right? To know why they do certain things. I had a very traumatic experience in the last few months in Nanjing. I didn't get paid for 4 months, and but China chose me, actually, right?
What do you mean by China chose you?
Welcome you to China.
All right, thank you. All right.
Things good.
All right, King Kwesi back again on YouTube with another video of Living in China series. Today, I have a beautiful woman right here in the city of Weihai to share her life experience as an expat living and working in China. So if you are here for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, King Kwesi, share this video, and let's grow the channel together.
Yeah, follow Kwesi.
Yes.
Yes.
I welcome you to my YouTube channel.
Thank you, Kwesi. Welcome to my home.
I love your home.
Thank you so much.
I love your home. I like the candles, the lights, and everything out here. The setup is beautiful.
I feel at home here, right?
You feel home, right?
Yes, I feel at home.
In Weihai?
Definitely so. It makes me think a lot about my hometown in South Africa. It's a very small little town at a seaside, and Weihai makes me think a lot about my hometown, right? So I really feel comfortable here. I feel happy. I can do so many things.
You can do so many things, right? So before we go into the conversation, can you tell us your name?
My name is Lizelle. I am from a little town called Langebaan on the west coast of South Africa. I am 56 years old, Kwesi.
56
yes.
years old, and you still look like 18.
I have a little bit of a different backstory, I think, to most people that come to China to teach. I worked in the corporate industry for a food retail company for about 30 odd years. When I turned around 50, I had a very unfortunate experience in South Africa with some intruders into my house, right? And after that, I had some PTSD. But mostly, I love travel.
Right.
And I've never taught before, but as a human resources director, which was what I was doing for all those years, I loved the part where I could teach young people, right? So we had a graduate program, which I started in my company, where I went to universities to recruit some top level students in many different fields. So I thought, I love teaching, right? I hate the negative part of HR, right? I hate the firing and the hiring and the union stuff. So that made me think a little bit, right? What can you do if you love to travel?
Right.
But you also have to work, right? So then I started doing some research to qualify myself to enable to be able to work in any other country, right? I didn't start off by choosing China. Originally, I wanted to go to South Korea or even Thailand, right? To have a little bit of a holiday while I'm working. But China chose me, actually, right?
What do you mean by China chose you? When you say China choose you, what do you mean by that?
At the time I qualified myself and I was starting interviews, I actually got 3 very good job offers, right? One was from Thailand, one was from South Korea, and the other one was from China. South Korea and China, both from the company I was investigating, Wall Street English, right?
Okay.
As a human resources director, I did my homework, right? I didn't want to be one of those young people that come to China to teach English and then didn't have legal work permits and being valid to work here. So I did a lot of research, and the company I focused on was a very professional one, Wall Street English, right? They have 40 branches across the world, Europe. So I thought, wow, I could go work for Wall Street English, stay for a year in one country and then move to the next one, right? So I might be able to cover Asia and then go to Europe and even South America. That would be so cool. Then out of South Korea and China, I got the 2 offers. The South Korean one was a good offer. I didn't want to come to China for some reason. But the Chinese ones, in some way, I started doing research about the city that they offered me, Shanghai. They offered me Shenzhen, and they offered me Nanjing.
Nanjing, right.
And I started doing my research, and I started looking at videos from Nanjing, and I fell in love with that city, right? For some reason, the temples, the modern part of the city, the fact that it has like 11 million people, right? I come from a very small town in South Africa, and Cape Town for me is quite big. Joburg, too big, right? So I chose the more challenging offer, and that was Nanjing, China.
Nanjing, China. So in totality, how many years have you been in China?
3 years.
3 years.
Right, 3 years. I came here in October, well, almost 3 years, October 2019.
So what actually do you teach, or what do you do?
Well, now I teach at Shandong University of Weihai, and I teach academic English to students.
What is academic English? If someone is watching you, I don't know, and I want to learn. What is academic English?
Academic English is teaching some first year, second year, third and fourth year students English about their major, right? So I have subjects like mathematics, mechanical engineering, all the sciences, right? Biology, chemistry, physics. I also have finance, and we teach them English about their major, and we also prepare them for maybe going to an international university for their postgraduate studies.
Is it challenging doing this work?
Very much so, because I don't teach with the language center, which would just be teaching English as a foreign language or as a second language. But the academic part of it is a little bit challenging, because I had to equip myself with some knowledge with regards to mechanical engineering and physics and chemistry and math. So I think I have to work a little bit harder with the lesson preparation, and you have to have a great general knowledge. But that's true for any teaching of English as a second language, I think.
So what are some of the requirements for someone back home watching this video, or someone abroad who want to travel to other parts of the world to also teach? What are some of the basic requirements a person needs to have?
Well, I think it's different for some of the countries, but in China, you have to have a bachelor's degree. You have to have a TEFL certificate, which is a certificate enabling you to teach English as a second language. And yeah, you don't really need any experience. You need a clear police certificate, right? No criminal record. And that's about it.
And I think at least 2 years work experience is also very important.
In Thailand, I don't even think you need that, right?
Okay.
But yeah, China would, I think they would prefer. If you don't have any other experience, lucky for me, I had 30 years of experience. So
right.
I didn't have any teaching experience. So I had to start at the bottom.
Right.
So I did a lot of homework, which is actually a little bit ironic, because then I started working for the strongest language center. And what happens after a lot of hard work, they just stopped paying us. And then eventually was liquidated, right? So yeah, I had a very traumatic experience in the last few months in Nanjing. I didn't get paid for 4 months, and we lost that money because now they are bankrupt.
So, I mean, you work for this money and you were not paid. Why didn't you take any legal actions against the company?
We tried, right? So at the point that we started realizing something is wrong was after the first 3 months of the initial lockdown for COVID, right? So we were all working from home because we were in heavy lockdown. And then the company started giving us some town hall meetings saying, oh, they're not able to pay. But they started using COVID as an excuse. But as a human resources specialist, I knew for the last few months that something was up, right? They weren't being really honest with us or very transparent. So they talked us out of leaving, you know, by saying, oh, we'll give you more money, you work less hours, all of those things, you know. Right. So pure human resources tactics. But this was then the Italian head office, right? Which of course then we found out after we started doing some legal proceedings that the Chinese part was registered very differently. Right. And yeah, there are still some legal action going, but people have moved on, right?
Are you hopeful you're gonna get your money?
No, we're not gonna get our money. They've declared bankruptcy last month. The trial started in Guangzhou, which was the very first, and they are owing so much money, millions, to center management, to other creditors, that I think we will be last in line. We tried, but the kind of people that I was working with were young people, right? They didn't have money to fall back on. They were living month to month, so they couldn't wait for a year to start legal action while paying lawyers and all of those things. So that was very unfortunate, but I was then lucky to be coming here to come to Weihai. Yes.
Now let's go back to a bit of your life in South Africa. You work in the corporate world for about 30 years.
Yes.
And now you are working in China. How is it different? Like working for the corporate world in SA and now working as a teacher in China. How is it different?
It's totally opposite, but I love this so much more, right? I thrived in the corporate world. I was good at human resources. I worked for a very strong company and I really loved my years there, but I worked quite hard, right? I traveled quite a lot and I was barely ever home or able to spend quality time with family and friends. Doing ESL teaching was an effort for me to just starting to calm down a little bit, right? Like mini semi-retirement. But so much different. What I do here, I love every moment of it. I love the lesson preparation. I love the planning stage because it's all positive stuff, right? In a normal corporate job, not everything's positive, right? As an HR specialist, you have to fire people, right? You have to deal with unions. You have to negotiate wages of people that you need more, but because you are working on the side of your company, you have to make some difficult and very negative decisions. So stress-wise, I'm now in the perfect place, right?
You are now in the perfect place. She's now in the perfect place working as a teacher in Weihai. Yeah. Now, you came to China and live in a big city, Nanjing, and now you're living in Weihai for almost a year. You said you're going to be a year next month.
Yes.
Are we having a party?
Yes. Go to your friends and drink a lot of whiskey.
Right. If there are foreigners watching us, I mean, people coming to China and they're trying to navigate around their life here, trying to make a decision whether to move to a big city or a small city. You have experienced life from these two different backgrounds. Yes. What are you going to tell them?
I think for a person coming to China for the first time, I would suggest go to a big city first, right? Because living in a small city is great now, but I'm glad that I started with Nanjing. I'm happy that I started in that big city where there was so much opportunities for me. Even at my age, my philosophy was to learn new things every week. Try one new thing every week. And I kept my promise to myself. I try new foods. I go to new places that I've never been, sometimes alone, right? Because for the first few months in Nanjing, I didn't know anyone, right? And I worked in a language center, which is much different from the university. In the university, we do things together much more in terms of a team. But in Nanjing, for many months, it was me and the few expats I know, right? So a lot of my colleagues there were one from South Africa, some from America, one from Canada. So we formed a little expat group, and we used to go to Western restaurants and eat some Western food. But I think it's better to start in a bigger city. Here now, the only things I miss from Nanjing, strangely enough, is the transportation system, because in Nanjing I could go anywhere
on the subway.
I could go on the speed train and go to Shanghai for a weekend by myself, right? Without any planning. I booked the ticket, I packed my bag, I went. Here it's a little bit more challenging, right? If you want to go a little bit further, you have to pay a lot of money. Taxi. And that's the only downfall. And the other thing I missed about Nanjing is the Western restaurants. And also the dancing. I do Latin American and ballroom dancing. So in Nanjing, I joined a dance club. And every weekend we go to 1912. Yes. And we had like a party. We had a salsa party, and we had all different kinds of dancing parties, right? That I miss, obviously, in Weihai. I haven't found the dancing club yet.
I guess we can. I guess we can start one. I guess we can start. I'll teach the African dance, the Ghanaian dance.
Yes, right.
We have the Ghanaian dance. Yeah.
Do they have good rhythm like all Africans?
Yeah, we have.
Right?
We have. Yes. I'm gonna show some videos.
But I think South Africans are better. We are better at shaking our booty.
Now let's come back to Weihai.
Yes.
Obviously we are different. I'm different, you are different. When you go out to the local places to buy groceries, go on the street, what are kind of reaction that you get from the local people?
Much different than Nanjing, right?
Right.
I think for many months in the beginning, I was the only expat in my community, right? So when I go to the beach here at Golden Beach, people would ask me, can I take a photo with you? I was like, me?
A celebrity?
And I thought, maybe because I'm beautiful. But then I realized, right, I'm a foreigner, right? And they haven't seen foreigners, especially children. But in Nanjing, happened a lot, especially if you have some other friends with you. It's a little bit like a phenomenon, right? But yeah, I am a friendly person, right? Just off the bat. I always smile, which I found very difficult when we started wearing masks, right? So wherever I went in Nanjing, in my community, I made friends with the security. I made friends with the cleaners. I always were nice to them, and they helped me out, right? Because it's not that easy for a foreigner. Let's be honest, right? It's different.
It's different.
Right? I think especially it's more so for people that look much different. But for me, people always say, oh, you're white skin. And I'm thinking, I don't want, all I want is to be a little bit more tan. What do you mean? Yeah, or blonde hair, right? So I stand out the same as I think many foreigners stand out in China. But yeah, it's different from place to place. When you go to Shanghai, does anyone stare at you? No, it's just international, right? But yes, it does take getting used to, especially the fact that you know they are talking about you and staring at you or trying to take pictures. But I'm not offended in that way, right? I had a friend, she was a South African, and Swati, she was the funniest, she's the funniest girl I know. She would talk to them in Chinese, but they often, right, treated her so much different, which I don't understand, but it's the life we live, right?
It's the life we live in China.
It's the international world, yeah.
Weihai.
Yes.
What do you make of the people in Weihai?
Well, I thought Nanjingers were friendly, but I think Weihaiers are much more friendly. I think I'm always surprised about their friendliness, their helpfulness. They will always, in Nanjing, when you get lost as a foreigner and you try and speak to them in English, they will just say, mayo, mayo, right, and turn around. But in Weihai, they actually do try to help you, right? In the supermarket, sometimes I would look for something and I would use my translator app, and then they would actually go there, take me and try to have a conversation. So,
oh, so Chinese?
Terrible, right?
I would love... Mayo.
I can help myself with some words, but you can see my little Mandarin books lying there. I think it's my age. I think also it's because I don't have, in Nanjing, I didn't have any Chinese friends. And I think that's the best way to learn it, right? So now I'm going out more with the Chinese teachers or my Chinese bosses. They often invite me on weekends, and then it's Chinese only. So you try and get along, but I wish I was better at this point.
You wish you were better at this point?
Oh gosh.
So what's your favorite Chinese word?
Oh, that's a good question. My favorite Chinese word, Mama Hu Hu.
Mama Hu Hu, just a little, Mama Hu Hu, just a little. Mama Hu Hu, when Chinese says Mama Hu Hu, it means just little, right?
Yeah. Or someone asks, how much spice do you want?
Yeah.
Idian,
just little, idiot.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, living in China for 3 years, you've gone through a lot of experiences. What has been the most memorable moments so far in your life here?
There are really many, Kwesi. I was afraid you'd ask me that question because it's too difficult to name them all. But there are some moments then when I travel somewhere or see something that's amazing, when I feel I really can't believe I'm here, right? I really can't believe this is my life now. So many experiences. You just go into a temple, right? And you experience something that's different from what you know. I love anything about Chinese culture. I've been learning a lot about Chinese culture, and I feel it helps me when I teach, right? To know why they do certain things. For instance, I have a course where I try to teach them to be more extroverted, more confident, especially when doing individual presentations. But they are often more so very reserved. And that's Chinese culture, right? They are taught from a very small age to not be better than anyone else, right? They have to fit in, right? So often when you ask a student, are you good? They say they love playing ping pong, right? Are you good at playing ping pong? No, I'm just so-so, right? And that is a part of the culture that you need to learn to be able to teach these people, that you need to know to be able to live a good life here, because otherwise it will always be off-putting, right? But once, I remember once in Nanjing, I went to, oh, and now I forgot the name, I'm old, is this new built, they built this new temple at the outskirts of Nanjing, which is one of these places that you can go and experience. So one day, just after the initial lockdown was lifted, I went there one Sunday morning very early. It was a rainy day, so when I got there, I was the only person there. And I walked this place, and it has all these Buddha music playing and some bells in the gardens. And it was modern, but it was also this truly Chinese authentic experience. And I felt like I'm on top of the world. This is why I came here, right? These experiences are the reason that we do what we do. And so I have many of those, right? I won't bore you with all the details, but there are many of those kind of experiences. You get these moments where you realize, man, this is awesome.
You get this moment and you realize, man, this is awesome. Describe in totality your life experiences in China.
Oh, many things happened to me, as you know, right? So I came here, I experienced Nanjing, I went to places like Gucci and Louis Vuitton, and I experienced all the luxury of Nanjing. And then I experienced COVID, right? Which I think was one of those things that nobody saw coming, right? And we had to navigate our way through this very difficult time. And I think it was difficult for expats more so than it was for local Chinese. Because we were confined to our apartments for 3 months or longer than that. And every time I had to go for a COVID test, I stressed because nobody could speak English. It was changing all the time, and you were so afraid that you overstepped the rules or didn't know what you were supposed to do. But I think then came the whole disaster with the ending of Wall Street, which led me, luckily, to come to Weihai. So I do believe in, you know, our path was designed for us a long time ago. And if that didn't happen, I probably would have stayed in Nanjing, or I probably would have gone elsewhere with Wall Street English. But now I'm here, and I love working for the university so much more. And I love living in Weihai. It's like home now. We have a great expat community. If I want to, I can go and have a party with them, or go just have a drink or a chat, or I can just enjoy life on my own, right? I do like traveling alone. That's why I do this. But yes, the reasons why I came here has changed a little bit, right? Initially, I came because I wanted to do one country, then go to the next one and the next one, which then COVID stopped. So now I have to remind myself, why do I still stay here, right? And there are plenty of reasons. As I said, I'm 56, so I don't have many years like you in front of you that I can still do this. So I would like to expand my experience here and learn more before I go back home to settle in my old age. But I certainly, it's taught me so much about culture. It's taught me so much about what I want to do in life, and that is do something that is positive and not the stressful part of. Yes, corporate is essential. I did that. I paid the hours, I paid my dues, and now I can do this, right? And after this, I will never be without any work, right? So if I do return back to South Africa, I will always be able to do some online teaching, and that gives me hope. So it was very difficult for an old lady to come to China alone, but now face a new culture, face a new job, and some of it was quite scary. But now I think I can actually do anything, right?
Right.
Yes.
Now she can actually do anything in China. I love that part. What is unique about South African women?
That's a very good question, right? South African women are resilient, right? We are the hard workers. We can do so many different things. I think South African women are beautiful. All of South African
Absolutely.
women. Yes, right?
Beautiful. Even beautiful is understatement.
Yes, right? We are very kind-hearted, but hardworking. South African women are some of the most hardworking people I know. But simply beautiful. My mom is a strong woman. She's in her 70s. I won't say the exact age because she'll be very angry at me. But she's very, very strong. She's still very active and energetic. And yeah, I think South African women particularly still would be able to change the world if you give them the opportunity.
South African women, yeah, we believe you guys are beautiful and you can change the world. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Kwesi. Let me give you a South African handshake.
Oh.
Yes.
We go like 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for coming to my home and chatting to me.
Yeah, I love this. Thank you so much. Guys, so if you are here for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, King Kwesi. Share this video and let's grow the channel together.
Yeah, follow Kwesi.
Yes.
Yes.
See you in the next one. Bye-bye.